It's been an incredible summer for Emirates Airline, but let you describe it in your own words as both an executive with Emirates, but also someone who's been a passenger with Emirates on your summer vacations today.
Well, I couldn't see any better. I think that what we have seen in the summer, I think in terms of demand, as reflected on our number, it was quite an outstanding summer, I think, for us in terms of the seat factor, in terms of demand that we have seen. Flights were almost full, I think, across the board in many places. Demand and premium was really strong, particularly the F&J and the premium economy that we introduced back in 22. So overall, I think it's really an amazing story in terms of how things have shaped up for us. And that definitely, I think that credit goes, number one, to Dubai government. Back in 2020, when Dubai was the first comer to open the city, that helped definitely Emirates to recover its network quite fast. Today, we're sitting at 140 destinations. All that definitely, I think, helped in shaping the demand, I think, that we have seen. But demand really way exceeded the capacity that deployed internationally and as well as with the Emirates overall.
Okay, well, there's lots to unpick there. So let's start, first of all, with Dubai, Emirates hub. Typically, I tend to think of 1 in 4 Emirates passengers get off the plane in Dubai. Most of them are transit passengers. Sometimes it's 1 in 5, sometimes 1 in 3. But I think of most people not getting off the plane in Dubai. How has that changed over the past few years? Are more people getting off the plane and spending time here?
If you compare it to pre-COVID, we were doing around 70% were transiting and 30% were coming to Dubai. That trend have changed as the COVID hit us. We have seen then gradually more people coming to Dubai because network were not operating or functioning due to the COVID restriction. More than 60, 70, even 80% to certain extent, people were coming to Dubai and were not connecting. That was back in 2020, 21. Gradually, as the network have recovered, we have seen more and more people now connecting. But that connection, still Dubai is taking its share. Today, we have more than 35% of the traffic that we're carrying with the current capacity that we're deploying, which is almost back to 90% to the pre-COVID level. People are coming to Dubai, and that reflected even into our number during this summer. The June to August number, more than 22 million people visited Dubai. Many of them, or still 50% of that traffic that we have seen, they are first comer, still coming to Dubai and discovering Dubai, which is part of the promotion that we had during this summer to attract more people to spend time in Dubai by offering the free night hotel for families and for people whom they wanted to come to Dubai and spend time in Dubai. But Dubai was quite a vibrant city in summer, targeting mainly the families, and that definitely reflected into the Dubai number even. Dubai, if you look at their 6-month result, is way exceeding even the pre-COVID number. 8.5 million people visited Dubai last 6 months. That all, I think, is indication of how Dubai stands today through the different chains, the number of hotels offered, the standard of and the quality of the living, the attracting many segments of the businesses, including the business people, the family visitors. So yes, I think Dubai really took a major share of what's happening in terms of the movement internationally, and because of the safety of Dubai, because of the standard of Dubai, what Dubai can offer, not only to the families, even to the business people and other segments of the traffic, Dubai definitely, I think, was a winner in the whole, I think, race of attracting more visitors to come to the city.
Okay, we've seen that. We all live here. We know it's true. Tourism is booming. Dubai's had a great pandemic. The real estate market is booming. All of these things we can see are true at the moment. But As Emirates Airline, when you make investment decisions, whether it's buying new aircraft or hiring people, whatever it may be, opening new routes, you don't just look at what's happening in summer 2023.
No.
You've got to take a 5, 10, 15-year view. So you've got to separate the hype and the here and now from the fundamental, structural, long-term shifts. And how do you see Dubai and its place in the world in a structural, long-term way? Post-pandemic, how much of this is just the kind of the post-pandemic halo effect, and Dubai had a great pandemic and real estate's booming, and how much of it is something structural and long-term that you have to plan for?
I mean, what we have seen Dubai in terms of the growth of the number of rooms that the city can offer, which is getting to almost 150,000 rooms per night. This number is way, even I think, if you look at the pipeline of what's going on in the city in terms of adding more and more hotels coming in with the Palm Jebel Ali announced many hotels that will be open there. The city will be sitting at the only city in the world that can offer anything between 170, 180,000 rooms per night in coming maybe 5 to 10 years. With that sort of magnitude, with this kind of facility that Dubai can offer, whether to do for MICE or to do for families, definitely Dubai will still remain to be a core and Emirates strategy in terms of the push. Any study that we make in the future in terms of launching even new routes, Dubai always tend to be sitting between 25 to 30% of the push that normally we try to factor in any forecast we do. And Dubai is very popular, is really sitting at the hub of between East and West, between Africa, between subcontinent, between Europe, and even I think today, Australia and New Zealand, and with the United States, with the co-chair that we signed today with the United that we have in Air Canada, it definitely attracted even more newcomers coming in from new places. I mean, we haven't seen that number today that we're seeing from a place like Canada in terms of visitors as a tourist, or from United States, but all this kind of cooperation that we build in the Emirates sort of ecosystem definitely attracted more and more, I think, people to come into Dubai. And they come for various reasons, as I mentioned, whether to do for family visits or to do with the families coming and enjoying their time, or to come for meetings and businesses, or to do with activities which Dubai can offer. I don't think any single city can offer, from beach to the shopping malls to the desert attraction, the mountain that Hatta can offer. So there are so many things you can do in one city at one given, even on the same day, even traveling from one end to another.
Yeah, but good luck getting a hotel in Hatta this winter, because it books up early, as you and I know. But anyway,
No.
if you get in early, you can get a hotel room. Look, joking apart, let's talk about some of the risk factors that you face. We know that we're living in some ways we're living in a post-pandemic world. COVID is now endemic, not pandemic, but there are new variants and new variants of concern that organizations like the World Health Organization has flagged up. How are you as an airline approaching this, given what you've learned over the past 3.5 years?
I mean, what I think we built in around that pandemic time, I mean, we have seen the worst of this airline in terms of shutting down Dubai airport, grounding over 260 aircraft back in March 25th, 2020. This worst could happen, have ever happened, I think, to any single airline. And we have managed to recover through the resilience, through the way we responded to the situation, through the collaboration that happened in the city. One thing which is good in Dubai, that the entire entities, whether private sector or even government, they all put hands together for the same objective, with a clear mandate and leadership of the leadership of this country and the city, which definitely, I think, help how to respond to the situation. Today, we have seen many of these kind of, situations in the past, not only pandemic, but even the wars and different worst case situations that we have ever seen. And we have managed to get through, I think, through, as I mentioned, the flexibility that we have, the dynamicness of the airline in terms of responding to the situation at very quick time. But at the same time, I think the support of the policies and the support of the government that we always have in terms of standing behind, opening things for us at very speed time. It doesn't happen in many cities. And we have seen that when many cities in the world, they were still closed due to the pandemic, many restrictions, they were still there. Dubai was open back in July 2020 with a right, I think, mechanism of restriction put in place in terms of the COVID requirements. But people were traveling, people were coming in, and that's how Dubai stands always different, I think, and stand ahead of the game. So if we get any of these kind of situation in the future, definitely we have learned a lot. The resilience is already embedded to the company, and we can maneuver and we can adjust the capacity whenever it required at a very short notice, and get over it, I think, from that angle.
A few more questions before we let you go. I know you're busy. Can I talk to you about premium economy? On the one hand, it's been a massive success for Emirates. Customers love premium economy. I don't know, I've walked through it on my way to economy class before. It looks very nice, but customers love it. But it can be a double-edged sword. It can be, rather than trading up from economy, it could be trading down from business class. And you know the aviation industry well. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I had a conversation, a coffee last week in DIFC, Cafe Patil DIFC, with a journalist, let's call him Fuddy, who had been to Los Angeles for a summer vacation on Emirates. And every year, because he's got family there, he goes business class. This year, he traveled with his family premium economy and said it was brilliant, it was cheaper, I'm going to fly premium economy going forward. That's great for Fadi and his family because they're getting a great level of service for a lower price. But for you as Emirates Airline, for whom business and first is a very important part of your economic model, how do you weigh up the pros and cons economically?
I mean, since we launched, it was launched to keep that the thin line between the economy and the premium economy, so that we don't cannibalize the traffic from business to economy and to the premium economy. And really, that worked quite well for us. I mean, what we have seen since we launched, it's almost now more than 1 year now. We haven't seen a cannibalization coming from business to economy. It's more people shifting from economy to the premium economy. It's really catering to a segment of the business that was there, but they were traveling in economy. When we did the study, we had 35% of the people were paying full fare economy, and they were traveling in economy. They were not getting the full privilege of the services or extra leg rooms or even extra meals or anything. And that really catered to that. We have seen a change in the policy of the corporate companies across the board, where people were not spending money into business, but more into the economy. But they were willing to pay that extra money to let these people to travel in premium economy. So I think the segment that we were after more, the segment of people, the corporate companies who were willing to pay a little bit more but travel in premium economy. We have seen many families of economy now moving and shifting towards the premium economy, but we haven't seen a shift coming from business class to the premium economy. And that's even reflected into our seat factor. If we look at the demand that we've seen in our business class seat, it's really way exceeding the 80% demand. We haven't seen any shift coming in to dip the seat factor in business class. To the contrary, we've seen even business standing even much stronger in terms of the demand than we had previously. So these are all indications of how the premium economy model is working. But at the same time, the logic behind the premium economy was around deploying them into the ULR missions, ultra long haul missions. And that's exactly what we did. If you look at the flights where they today stand, we have managed to deploy in 12 cities with 20 aircraft that were retrofitted with a premium economy. They are all sitting at ULR so that you can get the full benefit from the product offering. They're sitting in Christchurch, they're sitting in Auckland, Sydney, Melbourne, and Los Angeles, as you mentioned, New York, JFK, Houston, Dallas, all these kind of, markets that today, or London Heathrow, they're all sitting in long haul and ultra long haul flights so that the passenger can get the full benefit out of the product. Today, we have 160,000 seats offered in our network with the premium economy. And really, we're seeing quite a strong demand across the board for this particular product, which is good story.
Okay, Adnan, just a few minutes left with you. So rapid fire round. I'm going to throw a few quick questions at you. First of all, Saudi Arabia. Partly it's an opportunity for the UAE companies, Emirates Airline and many others. Partly it's a threat. We know they're launching new airlines. How do you view Saudi?
We always look at it as a complementing, because the expansion that's happening in Saudi and Saudi in particular, it's part of, I think, the benefit will come into Dubai. Many of the tourists whom they ending up in Dubai, they will travel from Dubai to Saudi or vice versa. These companies, again, many companies whom they are established even in Saudi, they are very much like to spend their weekend in Dubai as well. There is a lot of demand, I think, that will be shaped up between Dubai and Saudi from various families and various businessmen who will be established either in Dubai to be mobilized into Saudi or vice versa. So we see it as a complementing and adding value to the region. And always, I think, newcomers, new airlines always bring in more, I think, fresh and added value in terms of the opportunities. And you will never know. Maybe one day we'll be having some kind of cooperation with this new airline when will be fully established, and we'll be working with them, because one single airline definitely cannot do everything. We have always to be thinking in a very open-minded and open hat and work together to add value to each other.
Well, that will be something to watch going forward. Let's talk about the biggest market for aviation for the UAE, or certainly Dubai, which is India. We spoke to Paul Griffiths this week. He told us India remains the single biggest market for Dubai International Airport. And yet the aero politics are still there. I'm sure you and Fly Dubai and your friends at Etihad and Air Arabia would love to have more routes to India. Well, where do we stand with that over the next 6, 12, 18 months or so, Adnan? More routes to India?
Well, so far, I think we haven't seen anything happening. The engagement, I mean, always we had that kind of dialogue going on with the government, between our government and their government, in many aspects of the strategic dialogues and discussion. Aviation definitely will always stand to be a core in that dialogue. But we haven't seen anything meaningful happening as far as opening the flow between the two countries or two cities, even, I think, Dubai and India. Today, we still are restricted, whatever we got back in 2015 is where we stand today. There were 65,000 seats. We're still covering 9 points in India. With 171 frequencies, no more any capacity will come in the near future, but always we need to keep the hope alive, and you never know. I mean, one day may happen, but not in short term to medium term horizon. It's something that may happen in more longer term, I think, horizon, if something will happen.
Last question, inflation. It's a big deal around the world at the moment. Salaries are rising, rents are increasing, costs for many businesses around the world are increasing, whether it's energy prices as well. And of course, jet fuel is a big thing for you as well. How are you managing, how are you addressing the issue of inflation and rising costs across your profit and loss or your balance sheet?
I mean, that's part of the challenge, I think, that we discussed about it earlier. Even I think that part of the reason why we need to keep a little bit the fare a bit higher is to do with all what's happening around us, whether to do with the fuel price, which is hovering around the 85 to 87 level. The inflation is really hitting us badly from many markets. The reason the salaries happening across the board, the ground handling across the network is increasing the prices. So there is a major increase to the price. And in order to create the right balance between the demand that we're seeing and the increase in the prices that you mentioned here, definitely I think that should be calculated somehow into the price adjustment that we have made into our fares. Whether that things will be relaxed as we progress, definitely this is our intention to adjust that as we progress. But this is something we cannot factor in anything until we see a change is happening as we progress. And part of it, I think, will come in through the cost-cutting measures that we need to take as a company without compromising on the product offering that we have in the on board, or the retrofit program that we have launched, the $2 billion. They're all part of the DNA of the company, that we need to stand the high standard, high quality offering without any compromise. But definitely we need to bring in any element of cost cutting that we need to come to subsidize or reduce a little bit of our exposure that you mentioned, which still, the world is still going through volatility. Things are still not stable. And a lot of these kind of things you cannot predict even in terms of how things will shape up in the future.
Adnan, shukran jazeelan. Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, having just got back from vacation. I appreciate it. Speak again soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Ma salama. Bye-bye.
AI 103.8.
Join the conversation.